Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds just like a song. I want more berries and that summer feeling. It's so wonderful and warm. Breathe me in, breathe me out. I don't know if I could ever go without. I'm just thinking.
Welcome, guys. Basically today, since you are not in class with me, we are basically just going to walk through these notes together. There will be times in which you have to fill in parts of the notes as well. I will make sure those are highlighted for us. I want to make sure that you guys feel comfortable with these video notes just as much as you would, leaving the actual classroom. So make sure that not only do you watch these, fill them in completely, and answer the ones that I leave blank, but also that you submit these to your assignment for today. Okay, so basically what we're talking about today is how we translate words into math and vice versa. All right, so we've got some pictures here that just kind of walk us through some examples of words that we find in math, okay? So anything that has to do with addition, that plus sign that we're all used to, okay, we can be found in here, all right? So add, sum, together, increased by, more than, plus, combined, many words in which we could, use to represent addition. And then we've got some here for subtraction. Subtract, difference, take away, decrease by, minus, okay? Multiplication, some examples, product, multiple, twice, times, alrighty? I like to add the one per, okay? Division, quotient, shared, per here. Again, we can see per. And then basically turnaround words, which we will see examples of, can be examples like less than, from, like 12 from, taken from, to, so on. Equals, we see could be an is, are, were, will be, gives, totals, and parenthesis words, twice the difference of, twice the sum of, plus the difference of, okay? When it's got multiple things happening in that same sentence, okay, twice we see up here, but some we see up here. That's two operations, so we're going to have to specify where those operations are happening with some parentheses, okay? So let's take a look. Our goal for today is basically to be given some expression and translate that into some words down here, and then to work backwards and go from words to an expression, okay? So if I have 12 plus 4x, all right, I want to think, okay, what word could I insert here that would represent the operation happening here? Okay, so that's an addition operation. We can look up here, and I'm going to say the sum. Okay, nothing else will work. The add, the increase by, the together, the more. The sum of 12 and the blank of 4 and x. Okay, so if there's no operation technically happening right here that we can see, we're going to assume that it's multiplication, okay? So let's look at multiplication. I'm going to choose the word product, okay? And so basically, once again, we've got, let me do it in green, the sum, because we added, of 12, and there's that and word, the product because we multiplied of 4 and x. Boom. Okay? And then we went ahead and talked about that already. 4 times x is equal to 4x, which is equal to maybe 4 times x in that way. All the same operation of multiplication. Okay? Now, let's look at this one. We're going to create the phrase ourselves, given the expression 18 minus x divided by 7. Okay, so we've got subtraction happening here. And division happening here. Okay, so let's look at the subtraction words. So I'm going to use difference for my subtraction. And for division, I'm going to use quotient. Okay, so we can write the difference of 18 and the quotient of x and 7. Okay, cool. Moving on, write the expression that is 12 less than the product of 3 and twice the value of x. Okay, so this is a lot. We've got our number 12. I'm going to go ahead and underline the words in which will turn into some kind of symbol. The product of 3 and twice the value of x. Okay, so I know at least when I see less than that that's going to be one of my turnaround words. So let's look at this example. So I've got the product of 3 and twice the value of x. So let's start from actually the back end of the sentence and work basically from right to left. Okay, so twice the value of x, that's going to be 2x. And then I'm also going to have the product of 3 and that 2x. So I'm going to be multiplying that by 3. Okay, now what's weird is that when we read from left to right, okay, like normal, we would think, okay, it's going to be 12 minus, because we see that less than. But say I wrote 12 minus 3 times 2x, okay, that's 3 times 2x less than 12. Okay, just like here, 1 is 2 less than 3. All right, so it's all about the order in which we write it. Okay, we want this, when we write it, to be 12 less than the product of 3 and twice the value of x. Okay, so whenever you see that word, or I guess phrase, less than, okay, always think, okay, that means I'm going to be taking away whatever number is in front of it. I'm going to be taking that away from the rest of whatever I'm about to write. Okay, next up, we've got the quotient of 4 and 3 times the sum of 1 and x. Okay, so here again, I'm going to start from the back. I've got the sum of 1 and x. And then I have 3 times that. So I want 3 times all of that sum. But it's also the quotient of 4 and that. Okay, so I'm going to take the 4, divide that by my 3 times 1 plus x. Okay, quotient has to do with division. Quotient of 4 and blank. If it helps you think of the quotient of 4 and 2, okay, we would write 4 over 2, but instead of 2, we have to do all of that guy, okay? Now, this is where you guys are going to fill in. So I'm going to write, you do, just as a reminder. Okay, cool. And now we're going to talk about real world expressions, okay? So, Miss Burke is one of the greatest runners of all time. Now, not to brag or anything, but I was told when I was working out the other day at Orange Theory Fitness that I looked like I was a runner. I'm not though, okay? But fake it till you make it, right? Okay, so anyway, every day she wakes up and runs 5 miles to warm up, plus 1 mile for every day in a row she has run, okay? Write an expression that represents the number of miles ran after D, number of days in a row. How many days in a row does Miss Burke have to run in order to run 20 miles? Okay, so basically what we're looking at is we first want to think what will be my coefficient, what will be my variable, and what will be my constant. Okay, so let's think. If I run a 5-mile warm-up plus 1 mile for every day in a row that I have run, okay, is that 5-mile warm-up going to change the next day, or is the 1 mile for every day I ran going to be different? Okay, so let's think. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on, okay? That's going to be a 5-mile warm-up plus, it's the first day I've run, so 1 mile. Then it's going to be a 5-mile warm-up plus, it's going to be the second day I've run, so 2 miles. It's going to be a 5-minute or 5-mile warm-up plus, oh, that's the third day I've run in a row, so 3 miles. What's changing? The 5 or the miles on top of the 5? It's going to be the miles on top of the 5-mile warm-up, right? Okay, so I know that I'm going to have that guy right there, okay? And then basically it says plus the 1 mile for every day in a row she has run. Okay, so what should our variable be? What's changing? The days, right? The number of days in which I've run in a row. Okay, so I've got 1 mile times the number of days that I've run in a row. So we've got miles that I've ran is equal to 1 times the days in which I've ran plus those 5 miles for warm-up, okay? And I'll go ahead and put miles there. Okay, let me write this a little smoother. Let's say total miles is equal to 1 mile times the days plus my 5 miles. Okay? Now, we want to know how many days in a row does Miss Burke have to run in order to run a total of 20 miles. Okay, so now I'm given my total miles, all right, 20 miles, and I want to know how many days I've got to run in a row to reach those 20 miles. Okay, so days there is what we're going to solve for. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say 20m is equal to 1m times d, all right, plus 5m. And I'm going to solve for d, okay? So minus 5, that's going to be, let me shrink this. Yep. It's going to be 15 miles, 1 mile times d. We're still technically going to solve for that d, even though, say it were 2 miles, we would want to divide off that 2. Even though it's a 1, we want to make sure we divide. That cancel out. distance is equal to, I'm sorry, days is equal to 15. Boom, 15 days in a row I'd have to run. Make sure you always answer the question, 15 what? 15 frogs, 15 shoes? Nah, 15 days, okay? Now we've got Miss Kowalski is one of the coolest teachers in Hilliard Bradley. She already has 1,000 followers on Instagram. Every time she makes a new post, she gains 25 followers. Write an expression representing the number of followers Miss Kowalski will have after P number of posts. Then determine the number of posts in which Miss Kowalski will have to make in order to have 2,000 followers. Okay, so once again, we've got total followers is equal to number of followers gained times the number of posts plus starting followers. Okay, so basically, she starts with 1,000 followers. She gains 25 followers by every new post that she, posts, obviously. Okay, so let's think of how we would write this using just our variables and the numbers that we're given. Okay, so F is going to be equal to F times P oh, I'm sorry, 25F times P plus the 1,000F that she starts with, okay? There we go, okay? And if we wanted to make this just with that changing variable, okay, so I'm going to have this be my total is equal to 25P plus 1,000. Okay, I do that just so it makes it easy for us to solve for that variable that we're looking for. Okay, so now it's asking us determine the number of posts in which Miss Kowalski will have to make in order to get 2,000 followers. Okay, so we want our total follower count to be 2,000. Okay, so we're going to set that equal to the expression we came up with. And now we're going to solve for P. We're going to solve for the number of posts that we need. So we're going to subtract 1,000. That leaves us with 1,000 equal to 25P. And now we're going to divide by 25 to solve for P. And P is equal to 1,000 divided by 25, which is 40. All right, and we want to make sure we always label. Boom. All right, now you guys are going to try this last one on your own. Give it your best shot. If you have any questions, message me. I will send you out with the beautiful Harry Styles. Have a great Wednesday.